Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Excited to be here.
Today we're getting into something really important, something literally close to all our hearts.
Yeah, heart health, but more specifically, heart-healthy cooking.
That's right. We're going to dive deep into this awesome guide. It's packed with tips and tricks to make food that's both delicious and good for you.
And what's really cool is that even small changes in the kitchen
Oh yeah,
can make a huge difference for your heart health.
big difference, huh? Okay, I'm all ears. Let's get started.
All right.
So first things first, let's talk oils.
The building blocks of so many dishes.
Absolutely, but I've heard they're not all created equal, especially when it comes to heart health, right?
Right, you're spot on.
So which oils should we be using?
Well, this guide recommends sunflower, canola, safflower, rice bran, and of course, good old olive oil.
Oh, olive oil, I love that stuff. But why are these oils better for our hearts?
The key here is that they're all lower in saturated fat.
Saturated fat. Why is that the bad guy?
Well, think of saturated fat as the sneaky little thing that can raise your LDL cholesterol. That's the bad kind of cholesterol. And when you have high LDL cholesterol, it can lead to plaque buildup in your arteries, increasing your risk of heart disease.
So basically by switching to these healthier oils, we're giving our hearts a little TLC.
Exactly. Plus, each of these oils has its own unique flavor profile and best uses. Olive oil, for example, is a Mediterranean diet staple.
Oh yeah, olive oil, love it. Drizzle it on everything.
It's loaded with heart-healthy monounsaturated fats. Did you know there are different types of olive oil?
Actually didn't know that, no.
Extra virgin olive oil, with its bold flavor, is amazing for drizzling over salads and pasta.
That's what I usually use, yeah.
But refined olive oil with a higher smoke point is better for sautéing and baking.
Okay. I'm learning so much already.
And let's not forget about canola oil, super versatile with a neutral flavor.
Use canola oil.
It won't overpower those delicate dishes, plus it's packed with omega-3 fatty acids, another good guy for your heart.
So many good oils to choose from. All right, but let's be honest. Sometimes you just can't resist that crispy fried food.
Oh, I hear you. Who doesn't love a little crispy goodness?
But how do we make that heart healthy?
Well, don't worry. This guide has some awesome alternative frying methods. Steaming, grilling, baking, sautéing, and even poaching.
So many options. So we could still enjoy those crispy textures without all the guilt?
Absolutely. These methods help reduce fat and calories, creating lighter, healthier dishes without compromising flavor.
Okay, I'm sold. Walk me through these methods. What are the key things to keep in mind for each one?
Let's start with steaming, one of the gentlest cooking methods. It's perfect for veggies, keeps them vibrant and full of nutrients. Think perfectly steamed broccoli or asparagus.
Tender, crisp, and delicious.
Exactly. Now, grilling, that's where you can really bring out those natural flavors. The high heat sears and juices and creates those beautiful grill marks, perfect for lean proteins like fish and chicken.
My favorite grilled dish has got to be salmon with a little lemon and dill. So simple, but so good.
Sounds amazing. And that's the thing with heart-healthy cooking. It doesn't have to be boring or bland. You can still enjoy your favorite dishes.
Totally.
Next up, baking. Baking uses dry heat to cook food evenly. Think roasted veggies, baked chicken, or even those hearty whole grain muffins.
Oh, baking is definitely a go-to for me. Throw everything on a sheet pan and let the oven do the work.
What about sautéing? I feel like that one can be a little tricky with oil control.
You're right, sautéing does involve some oil. The key is to use just a touch and, of course, choose one of those heart-healthy oils we talked about earlier. High heat and quick cooking are essential for sautéing, so your food browns nicely without getting greasy.
Makes sense. High heat is key. Okay, and last but not least, poaching. I'll admit, this one's always seemed a bit intimidating.
Poaching might sound fancy, but it's just submerging food in simmering liquid.
Oh, that doesn't sound too bad.
It creates these incredibly tender and flavorful dishes. Think perfectly poached eggs or delicate fish fillets.
Okay, I'm starting to see that there are a lot more options than I initially thought. This is great. And we're just scratching the surface. Now that we've talked about healthy cooking fats, let's move on to another important ingredient. Dairy.
Dairy. Okay, that's a staple in so many recipes. But I know there are some things to consider when it comes to heart health.
Right, you are right. This guide recommends going for low-fat dairy products whenever possible.
Is that just about watching calories?
It's more than that. Full-fat dairy can be high in, you guessed it, saturated fat. And we already know how that can impact heart health.
Right, right. So choosing low-fat options is a good way to cut back on saturated fat without giving up all that creamy goodness.
Precisely.
Okay, but full disclosure, I'm a creature of habit. I usually go for whole milk and full-fat yogurt. Any tips on easy swaps I can make?
I totally get it. Changing those habits takes time. One of my favorite swaps is Greek yogurt. It's a fantastic alternative to sour cream and dips, sauces, and toppings. It adds that tanginess and creaminess with way less fat. And when it comes to milk, there are so many options these days.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Skim milk, 1%, even unsweetened almond milk. You can easily use these in your cooking and you won't even notice the difference.
Okay, I'm definitely going to try some of those swaps.
And speaking of making smart choices, let's talk protein. This guide emphasizes choosing lean protein sources.
Right? Bring on the protein power. But honestly, a juicy burger or thick steak are hard to resist. What makes lean protein the better choice for our hearts?
While red meat is a good source of protein, it can be higher in saturated fat. Going for skinless chicken and fish more often, it can really help reduce that saturated fat intake.
Makes sense. It's about making those mindful swaps.
Hmm.
What are some of your favorite ways to prepare lean protein? I'm always looking for new ideas.
There are so many delicious possibilities. I love grilling chicken breasts marinated in herbs and lemon juice. It's so simple and flavorful. Or baking fish with a drizzle of olive oil and some seasoning is a great weeknight meal.
Simple and delicious. I like it.
Right.
I've been trying to eat more fish lately, especially those rich in omega-3 fatty acids.
That's fantastic. Omega-3s are amazing for heart health. They can help lower triglyceride levels and blood pressure.
So which fish should I be loading up on?
Salmon, mackerel, tuna, and sardines are all packed with those beneficial omega-3s. Aim to include those in your meals at least a couple times a week.
Okay, got it. Now, on to a topic that always sparks debate: eggs. This guide suggests using egg whites instead of whole eggs. Why is that?
Well, egg yolks contain cholesterol, and too much cholesterol can contribute to heart disease. Using egg whites eliminates the cholesterol, but you still get the protein and all those other good nutrients.
That's an easy swap. But what do I do with all those leftover egg yolks? I hate wasting food.
That's a great question. Did you know you can freeze leftover egg yolks? Just pop them in the freezer and you can use them later in recipes that specifically call for yolks.
Now, that's a smart tip.
And here's another important point that ties into heart-healthy cooking: reducing salt intake. The guide really stresses choosing low-sodium options and using herbs and spices to flavor food. Relying too much on salt can be a problem.
I've heard that too much salt can be bad for your heart, but why?
It's because high salt intake can lead to high blood pressure, and high blood pressure is a major risk factor for heart disease. So by reducing your salt intake, you're helping to keep your blood pressure in check.
So ditch the salt shaker and embrace those herbs and spices.
Exactly. There's a whole world of flavor out there. Experiment with fresh herbs, dried spices, citrus zest, garlic, ginger. The possibilities are endless.
I love it. This is where it starts to get exciting. The guide talks about functional foods, ingredients that are like powerhouses for heart health. It specifically calls out garlic, flax seeds, tomatoes, onions, almonds, and walnuts.
Those are like your heart-healthy heroes in the kitchen. Each one brings something unique to the table, supporting heart health in different ways.
Like garlic. I put garlic in everything.
Well, garlic is known for its potential to lower blood pressure and cholesterol levels, so you're doing a great job.
Okay, good to know. What about flax seeds? I've heard they're good for you, but haven't really tried them.
Flax seeds are a great source of fiber and those wonderful omega-3 fatty acids, both of which are heart healthy. You can sprinkle them on yogurt, add them to smoothies, or even use them as an egg replacement in baking.
Wow, flax seeds are more versatile than I thought. Okay, got to get me some of those. What about tomatoes? They're a staple in so many dishes.
Tomatoes are packed with lycopene, an antioxidant linked to a reduced risk of heart disease. Cooking tomatoes actually increases their lycopene content, so feel free to use canned tomatoes in your sauces and soups.
Good to know. I always have canned tomatoes on hand. And what about onions? Those add so much flavor.
Onions are in the same family as garlic and have some similar heart-healthy benefits. They're a good source of antioxidants and may help lower blood pressure.
Onions and garlic, a dynamic duo. What about almonds and walnuts? I know nuts can be a healthy snack, but are they specifically good for your heart?
They're more than just a snack. Almonds and walnuts are full of healthy fats, fiber, and protein. They're great for your heart because they can help lower LDL cholesterol and reduce inflammation.
So I should add almonds and walnuts to my grocery list for sure.
Yeah.
Now, what about those oil sprays? The guide mentions using them to minimize oil usage.
Oil sprays are a great way to control calories and fat. You can lightly coat your cooking surface, preventing sticking without using much oil.
It's all about those little adjustments, right? Speaking of adjustments, This guide mentions something I found interesting, a warning against mixing oils.
That is interesting, isn't it? While the guide doesn't go into detail about why mixing oils might be a bad thing, it's important to remember that different oils have different smoke points. That's the temperature where an oil starts to break down.
So mixing oils with different smoke points could be an issue.
Potentially. More research is needed to know for sure, but it's probably best to stick to one type of oil for each cooking session just to be on the safe side.
That makes sense. Okay, I'm definitely going to be more aware of that. Wow, we've covered so much already, and we're just getting started. A huge thanks to the London Heartbeats V Academy UK for their support in creating this incredible resource.
Absolutely. Their dedication to promoting heart health is truly commendable.
And for our listeners, if you're finding this deep dive as fascinating as we are, be sure to check out the London Heartbeats Z Academy. They've got over 150 courses on a variety of topics.
And don't forget to subscribe to their social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. They've got free, regular updates you don't want to miss out.
You definitely don't want to miss out. Okay, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with more heart-healthy cooking tips.
Welcome back, everyone. Ready for more?
Absolutely. Let's keep this heart-healthy train rolling.
Great. Well, we're going to dive into a topic that's super important, but sometimes tricky: portion control.
Oh, portion control. That's a tough one. Everything always looks so good, it's hard to resist piling up my plate.
I know what you mean. It's easy to get carried away. But this guide emphasizes that portion control plays a vital role in heart-healthy cooking.
Okay, but how do we get a handle on portions without feeling like we're depriving ourselves?
Well, the guide starts with mindful eating, really paying attention to what we're eating and how much. It's about savoring each bite and recognizing those fullness cues from our bodies.
Mindful eating, so basically slowing down and actually enjoying our food.
That's the idea. It's easy to rush through meals without really tasting anything.
Guilty as charged. What other portion control tips does the guide have?
It suggests using smaller plates and bowls. It's a simple visual trick.
Oh, yeah.
When you use a smaller plate, a regular portion looks like more, so you feel more satisfied with less food.
That's actually a really good tip. I
Yeah.
definitely use those oversized dinner plates, probably way bigger than I need.
And pre-portioning snacks. Instead of grabbing a huge bag of chips, divide them into smaller portions beforehand.
Makes sense. I always end up eating way more than I intended when I just eat from the bag.
Right. And be mindful of beverages, too. Sugary drinks add empty calories and can lead to weight gain, putting more strain on your heart.
So stick to water.
Water is always a good choice. It's calorie-free and keeps you hydrated. Unsweetened tea, sparkling water, and low-fat milk are good alternatives, too.
This portion control conversation is really helpful. It's not about deprivation, it's about making those conscious choices.
Exactly. And speaking of conscious choices, the guide delves into another important topic: food labels.
Food labels, they can be
Oh.
so confusing. All those numbers and percentages make my head spin.
I know, right? But the guide helps break it down. It encourages us to become savvy label readers, focusing on the key info that can help us make heart-healthy choices.
Okay, so what should we be looking for?
Start with serving size. This tells you how much of the food's considered one serving. It's important for understanding the calories and nutrients listed on the label.
I've noticed serving sizes are often much smaller than I think they are.
Exactly. It's easy to eat more than we realize if we're not paying attention to serving sizes. Next, check the calories per serving. This gives you an idea of the calorie content for that amount of food.
Okay, calories are important. What else?
The guide recommends paying attention to saturated fat, sodium, and cholesterol, 3 nutrients that can be harmful to heart health when consumed in excess. Try to choose foods that are lower in those.
So it's about being informed and making smart choices based on that label information.
Right. And don't be afraid to compare labels. If you're deciding between 2 similar products, see which one has a better nutrient profile.
I'm starting to feel like a food label detective.
That's the spirit.
Okay, now that we've tackled labels, let's move on to meal planning. The guide stresses how important that is for heart-healthy cooking.
Meal planning is like having a game plan for your meals. It ensures you've got healthy options ready to go and reduces those last-minute unhealthy choices.
I've tried meal planning, but I struggle to stick with it. It can feel so overwhelming.
It definitely takes some effort, but the benefits are worth it. The guide suggests starting small, maybe plan 1 or 2 meals per week, and then build from there.
That's a good idea. Start small and make it manageable.
Eh.
What else does the guide suggest for meal planning success?
It highlights the importance of a weekly menu based on your schedule and what you like. Get your family involved so everyone's excited about the meals.
That's a great idea, turning meal planning into a family activity.
And don't forget batch cooking. Prepping larger quantities of staples like grains or beans can save you time throughout the week.
Oh yeah, batch cooking is a lifesaver. I always feel so prepared when I have those prepped ingredients ready to go.
Right, it makes those weeknight dinners so much easier. The guide also recommends using your freezer. Freezing leftovers or portioning out meals can prevent waste and ensure you've always got a healthy option available.
This is starting to make meal planning seem less daunting. It's not about being super strict, it's about being prepared and making those healthy choices easier.
You got it. When you have a plan, you're less likely to reach for takeout or make unhealthy choices when you're hungry.
True, that's usually when I make my worst choices. Okay, meal planning, check. What else does this guide cover?
It dives into something that's often overlooked but super important: the social and emotional side of food.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about food in that context. What does that have to do with heart health?
The guide reminds us that food is more than just fuel. It's connected to our emotions, memories, and social connections.
That's so true. Certain foods bring back such strong memories. Like my grandmother's homemade apple pie. It always makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
Exactly. And sharing meals with loved ones can be a wonderful way to connect and create lasting memories.
But those social gatherings often involve not so healthy food choices.
Yeah.
How do we navigate those situations without feeling like we're missing out?
It's about finding a balance that works for you. The guide encourages us to be mindful and make conscious choices while still enjoying those special moments.
So it's not about being perfect. It's about finding a sustainable approach that fits our lives.
Right. And the guide also reminds us to be kind to ourselves. We all slip up sometimes, it's normal. It's important to view those as opportunities to learn, not as failures.
That's such a good point. It's about progress, not perfection. Now, what about cravings? We all have those moments when we really want something that's not the healthiest choice.
Cravings are totally normal. The guide acknowledges that and offers some strategies for managing them.
Okay, tell me the secrets. How do we deal with those cravings?
The guide suggests figuring out your triggers. What situations or emotions usually lead to those cravings? Once you know your triggers, you can start to come up with ways to handle them.
Makes sense. If I know I tend to crave sugary snacks when I'm stressed, I can focus on healthier ways to manage my stress.
Exactly. And remember, it's okay to indulge occasionally. Moderation is key.
So finding that balance, enjoying those treats without going overboard.
Right. And explore healthier alternatives for those cravings. If you're craving something sweet, reach for a piece of fruit or some dark chocolate instead of processed sugary snacks.
Those are great ideas. Definitely get to try those swaps.
Remember, it takes time to develop new habits and change our taste preferences. Be patient with yourself and celebrate those small wins along the way.
This conversation has been so insightful. Heart-healthy cooking is so much more than just recipes and ingredients. It's about making those mindful choices, finding balance, and being kind to ourselves.
Absolutely. It's about embracing a holistic approach to food that nourishes our bodies and minds.
I love that. It feels like the perfect segue into our next topic, the role of exercise in heart health. We've talked about what we eat, but what about physical activity?
Exercise is essential for a healthy heart. It strengthens the heart muscle, improves blood flow, and lowers blood pressure and cholesterol levels.
Okay, so we know exercise is good, but what's the best kind of exercise for heart health?
The guide recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic activity per week.
That sounds like a lot. What exactly do those intensities mean?
Moderate intensity activities are things like brisk walking, cycling, swimming, dancing. You should be able to talk but not sing during those. Vigorous intensity activities are more intense, like running, jumping rope, or HIE workouts. You'll be breathing harder and it'll be tough to talk.
Got it. So find activities that get my heart rate up and that I actually enjoy.
Exactly. The guide also encourages incorporating exercise into our daily routines, even if it's just in small bursts. Take the stairs, park further away, walk during your lunch break. Little things can add up.
Love those tips. Small changes make a big difference.
And don't forget strength training. It helps build muscle mass and boost metabolism. Aim for at least 2 strength training sessions per week, focusing on all the major muscle groups.
I've heard building muscle helps with weight management. Is that true?
Absolutely. Muscle burns more calories at rest than fat, so having more muscle mass helps you burn more calories throughout the day.
That's incredible. I'm definitely going to add more strength training to my routine.
Consistency is key with exercise. Even if you only have time for a short workout, it's better than nothing.
This has been such a thorough overview of exercise and heart health. Feeling motivated to get moving.
That's great. And remember, it's never too late to start.
This guide is such a treasure trove of information. It's inspiring to see how many aspects of our lives impact our heart health.
It really is a holistic approach to well-being.
And speaking of well-being, the guide dives into another crucial aspect of heart health: stress management.
Stress can have a significant impact on our cardiovascular health. When we're stressed, our bodies release hormones that can elevate our blood pressure and heart rate.
I can definitely feel my heart racing when I'm stressed out.
Right. And chronic stress can contribute to unhealthy habits like overeating, smoking, or excessive drinking, all of which can harm heart health.
So how do we manage stress in a way that supports our hearts?
The guide offers a bunch of stress management techniques and stresses finding what works best for you.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are some of those techniques?
It highlights relaxation techniques like deep breathing, meditation, or yoga. These practices can help calm the nervous system and reduce those stress hormones.
I've tried meditation, and it definitely helps me feel more grounded and centered.
Great. Spending time in nature can be incredibly beneficial too. Take a walk in the park, do some gardening, or simply sit under a tree. It can really help lower stress levels.
Nature is definitely my happy place. Any other stress management tips from the guide?
It encourages us to prioritize sleep. When we're sleep deprived, our bodies produce more stress hormones. Aim for 7-9 hours of good quality sleep each night.
I know I feel my best when I get enough sleep. Does the guide talk about social connections? Do they play a role in managing stress?
Absolutely. The guide emphasizes nurturing those strong social connections. Spending time with loved ones, talking to a friend, or joining a support group can help buffer stress and improve emotional well-being.
Having a strong support system is so important, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed.
And remember, if stress becomes too much to handle, don't hesitate to seek professional help. Therapists and counselors can provide support and guidance in developing healthy coping mechanisms.
This whole stress management conversation has been so eye-opening. Taking care of our mental and emotional well-being is just as crucial as taking care of our physical health.
Exactly. It's all interconnected.
This guide is amazing. It's covered so much ground, from choosing the right oils to managing stress. But before we wrap up, I wanted to circle back to something you mentioned earlier: creating a heart-healthy environment.
Oh, that's a great point. Our environment can have a huge impact on our choices and behaviors.
So how do we create an environment that supports those heart-healthy habits?
Start by making your home a heart-healthy haven. Stock your kitchen with nutritious food, make healthy choices easily accessible, and limit the availability of unhealthy temptations.
Out of sight, out of mind. I like it.
Exactly. Create a space that encourages movement. Set up a home gym, make space for yoga or stretching, or simply make it a habit to take walks around your neighborhood.
Love those ideas.
Yeah.
What about our workplaces? Can we make those environments more heart-healthy too?
Definitely. The guide suggests talking to your employer about implementing wellness initiatives. Things like healthy snack options, opportunities for physical activity during the workday, or even on-site fitness centers.
That would be amazing. I can't believe how much those small changes in our environment can make a difference.
Right. And don't underestimate the power of community. Surround yourself with people who support your goals. Join a walking group, find a workout buddy, or do cooking classes with friends.
It's all about creating that network of support to help us stay on track.
You got it. And the guide also encourages advocating for heart-healthy policies in our communities. Support initiatives that promote access to healthy foods, safe places to be active, and smoke-free environments.
This has been such an inspiring and motivating deep dive. I feel equipped with the knowledge and drive to make real, lasting changes for a healthier heart.
That's wonderful to hear. It's a journey, not a destination.
Well said. We've covered so much valuable information, now it's time to put it into practice.
Absolutely. Remember, small steps, taken consistently, can lead to big transformations.
I'm excited to start incorporating these tips into my life.
And we're here to support you every step of the way.
Wow, this deep dive has been incredible. We've covered so much ground, from the food we eat to managing stress and even creating supportive environments.
It really highlights how interconnected all these aspects of our lives are when it comes to heart health.
Exactly. And speaking of interconnectedness, this guide delves into something I find fascinating: the link between heart health and gut health.
Oh, that's a hot topic right now. There's so much research emerging about the gut microbiome, those trillions of bacteria living in our gut, and how it impacts our overall health.
Yeah, I've heard a bit about that, but I don't fully understand it. How does gut health actually relate to heart health?
Well, it turns out that the gut microbiome can influence a lot of things, from blood pressure regulation to inflammation, both of which are key factors in heart health.
So basically, taking care of our gut can benefit our heart as well.
You got it. And this guide suggests that supporting a healthy gut through diet and lifestyle choices can really make a positive impact on our cardiovascular well-being.
That's fascinating. What kind of things can we eat to support a healthy gut?
Fiber is key. The guide emphasizes eating a wide variety of fiber-rich foods, things like fruits, veggies, whole grains, and legumes.
Fiber, always the unsung hero.
Right. Well, fiber acts as food for those good bacteria in our gut, helping them thrive.
So we're nourishing our gut bacteria with fiber.
Exactly. And fermented foods are also fantastic for gut health. Things like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi, they contain live bacteria that can add diversity to the gut microbiome.
I love yogurt and kefir. I'll definitely try to incorporate more fermented foods into my diet.
Good idea. And on the flip side, it's also important to limit those processed foods, sugary drinks, and unhealthy fats. They can really disrupt that balance of bacteria in the gut.
So creating an environment where those beneficial gut bacteria can flourish.
You got it. And don't forget to stay hydrated. Water is super important for maintaining a healthy gut lining and supporting digestion.
This whole gut-heart connection is incredible. It's amazing how our bodies are so interconnected.
I know, it's fascinating. This guide reminds us that when we take care of one aspect of our health, it often has positive ripple effects on other areas.
Absolutely. We've covered so much in this deep dive. Cooking techniques, stress management, gut health. It's been a whirlwind of information. But I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the power of small steps.
Yes. It's so easy to feel overwhelmed with all this information, but the guide emphasizes that you don't need to make drastic changes all at once.
Small, manageable changes, that's the key to making those changes stick.
Exactly. Start by incorporating one or two new habits into your routine and build from there.
What are some small steps our listeners can take today to start their heart-healthy journey?
Well, here are a few ideas. Swap out one unhealthy snack per day for something heart healthy, like some almonds or a piece of fruit. Take a 15-minute walk during your lunch break. Try a new heart-healthy recipe this week. Maybe practice deep breathing exercises for 5 minutes each day. Those might seem like small things, but over time they can make a big difference.
I love those suggestions. Simple, actionable steps anyone can take. It's all about taking action, one step at a time.
Exactly. And remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about progress. We all slip up, it's human. The key is to see those slip-ups as learning experiences, not as failures.
Progress, not perfection. I love that. This deep dive has been such a fantastic journey of discovery.
It really has been. It's been a pleasure exploring these heart-healthy insights with you.
Likewise. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of heart-healthy living. We hope you've gained some valuable knowledge and inspiration to make positive changes in your life.
Remember, taking care of your heart is an investment in your future well-being.
And it's never too late to start. Until next time, be well and keep those hearts happy and healthy.